single day and do what you do. If she does that, we're going to see Jordy Bahl be as good as ever and continue to get better.
And you would expect Kentucky to rebound after last night. I mean, the Sooners just hopped on them early and clubbed their way to that 18-0 win. Kentucky's been able to have a get-better game, though, today. They beat UIC pretty handily, 7-1 in the opener, so they are ready to go.
They did, able to gain some confidence. I think we're going to see a little bit of a different Kentucky team here this afternoon than what we saw yesterday.
Ranked number 16 in the country, and this is the all-time leading hitter in Kentucky softball history. Graduate student from New Braunfels, Texas, Kayla Kowalik leads them in hitting. And earlier this year, she broke the Kentucky hits record with number 286 in a win over Washington. She was 5 out of 5 in that game. And her third hit of the 5 broke the Kentucky record.
And this is a very good Kentucky team, and I don't think we necessarily saw that yesterday. Not that they looked bad by any means, but it was just complete domination from the Sooners from pitch 1 to the end. I mean, they were laying it on. It's hard to be amped up. It's hard to do those things when you just feel like you're, you know, in the middle of a train coming through.
That's what it was like. 2-0 the count on Kowalik now. Great respect between the two head coaches. Patty Gasso was talking about the job that Rachel Lawson has done in her 16th year. Here is the lineup. Kowalik, Nesby, Erin Koffel is a slugging infielder who has had 2 15-home run seasons as a Wildcat. And she will be up third in the inning. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Kowalik.
And Coach Lawson really took this Kentucky program that was, I mean, almost a non-factor in the SEC, you know, over a decade ago, and made them a staple in the top 25 in the postseason.
One hopper back to Jordy Bahl, and she retires Kowalik. You said it right with Rachel Lawson. This program had 1 winning season prior to her arrival. They have had 14 winning seasons in the 16 since she got there. And College World Series 2014, 8 super regionals in the last 11 years for her.
And I think the best part is Coach Lawson. She's done it the right way. She has done it. She has been there for a long time. She's very classy. It's a very hardworking program. And the way that she recruits and goes about things, it shows in the way her teams play and the way they come out every season.
You almost go with these two programs, bluegrass, blue collar. And with Oklahoma, you go red dirt meets blue collar.
Yes, absolutely.
There is Rachel Lawson, longtime members of her staff, Christy Himes and Molly Belcher. They are the base coaches with the head coach in the dugout as the Wildcats are on offense.
You know, you're really starting to see more of that in softball. You know, Coach Gasso always still coaches third base, but you're starting to see more of the head coach, almost like a baseball manager role, being in the dugout. I think part of that too, when you have a head coach that also works with your pitchers, sometimes it's easier to be in the dugout with your pitchers so you can manage the bullpen.
See Patty Gasso over in the Sooner dugout. 6 national titles, 12 Women's College World Series. And she was pleased, no doubt, with the response in that second game yesterday. She said, as the first game was playing out and maybe some not so productive at-bats were happening, as Brito charges in and fires a strike over to Jocelyn Erickson for the second out. We see the Sooner defensive lineup. Rest day today that we will see out at shortstop for Grace Lyons. And so we see Tiare Jennings in the middle of the defense. That means Quincy Lilio will play second base. Little switch up the middle for the Sooners defensively today, DJ.
Might be a little flash into what we see a year from now with Grace Lyons working on her final season in a Sooner uniform, which breaks my heart to even say and even think about.
First pitch to Erin Koffel is a little bit down and in. To finish up with what Coach Gasso was talking about, she said, we didn't have much time in between games, so I was storing up what I wanted to say as the first game was happening. Had all the words prepared for the between games speech.
Am I wrong to say I could see it happening in the middle of the game? I'm like, you can see the wheels turning. Best way to say it, they came out flat in game 1, but what good teams do is they respond, and you saw it. There's nothing else that Coach Gasso or this coaching staff could have asked for in game 2 against Kentucky yesterday. What we're seeing so far, Jordy Bahl throwing very well. Brito making the good play. So coming out and hopefully seeing an extension of what we saw last night.
Little pop-up out towards short, and Tiare Jennings handles her first put-out at shortstop this afternoon. No score. Sooners come to the plate for the first time today in the bottom of the first when we return. Support every game, wouldn't you, DJ?
Absolutely. Makes it a little easier to throw that way, huh? You've got almost double digits on the board every game.
Jada Coleman, what a day she had. We look at the Sooner batting lineup. Couple of changes. It is presented by Norman Regional Health System, but Coleman and Jennings at the top, then Haley Lee. Jocelyn Erickson, the freshman, has been fantastic so far. And Kinsey Hansen, who drove in 7 runs against Kentucky yesterday. Jordy Ball is in there in the number 9 spot and pitching. We expect that she's going to hit when that comes around later, DJ.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to kind of seeing Jordy in that role, and role she knows so well. I mean, everything she did in high school and travel ball, but a little bit of a scuffle here. I think that Jada believes she got hit by the pitch.
And now they're going to talk it over. Plate umpire Anthony Williams, the first base umpire Mike Hernandez, and Bobby Martinez, the third base umpire. Maybe we'll get a chance to look again.
To be honest here, the way Jada's swinging the bat, I'd rather just put her on base.
She was 5 out of 7 in the 2 games yesterday with 2 home runs. Let's look again. 2 home runs and 2 doubles yesterday. I don't know.
I'm not sure. Or if they're saying it hit the knob of her bat, so it's strike, foul ball, but it's ball.
It's ball.
Yeah, it's ball, so I'm not totally sure.
2-0. Sure, we'd like to have a microphone on the plate umpire to hear what's happening. Jada Coleman batting .450 on the year. 4 homers, 6 runs driven in. Leads the second on the Sooners with 19 runs scored.
And she put on an absolute clinic yesterday. I mean, from start to finish in both games. Hitting the ball all over the yard.
Three and two now. Alexia Lacatena, the sophomore from Stanhope, New Jersey. She pitched for Italy in the 2020 Olympic Games.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know about that. This has got to feel, I mean, you always talk about teams walking into Marita Hines and the feeling and the packed house and the energy that you get from this stadium. That probably feels like nothing to Lacatena after having been in the Olympics.
There's a line drive speared by the left fielder Riley Smith. So Lacatena fell behind Jada Coleman 3-0, but was able to retire her. You've seen Riley Smith out there. Nesby in center. Ebbs is the right fielder. And around the infield, Lorson, Koffel, Tobias Harrison, and Kowalik doing the catching for Alexia Lacatena. Here is Tiare Jennings. Ripped into the gap in right center field. That one hops the wall. Hits so hard that it holds her to a single. Well played out there by Vanessa Nesby to grab that off of the hop and off the wall. It's a strong single in the right center field gap for Tiare Jennings.
Nesby played this so well, holding Jennings to a single, but I love the swing, the approach, taking that curveball to the opposite side of the field. But great job by Kentucky getting that ball in, holding Tiare Jennings at first base, out of scoring position.
Here's Haley Lee making her 15th start of the year. Batting .410 is Haley Lee. She's hit 3 home runs, including a 2-run home run in the first game yesterday.
Yeah, she has really been solid and honestly done everything that we would have expected her to have done coming in here as a senior transfer.
Margaret Tobias takes care of that one for out number 2. So Haley Lee is retired. Haley Lee, the Texas A&M transfer, returning All-American. And we see the freshman Jocelyn Erickson now.
I have been so impressed with Erickson and the way that she has come into this lineup. If you would have asked a lot of people who would be the leading hitter in March for this team, I highly doubt anyone would have said a freshman.
But she's batting .563 and leads the Sooners in home runs with 5 and runs batted in with 23.
There's so much talk. How do you fill the Alo hole?
Slicing fly ball that's off the glove of Riley Smith. The throw's going to go to third, and maybe a little base running error there by Tiare Jennings as she gets thrown out for the third out. We'll see if they score that a base hit for Jocelyn Erickson. Nevertheless, the Sooners leave a runner out there, and Kentucky's able to get out of what would have been a first and third jam. We'll go scoreless to the second in Norman. We hope everybody out there is okay and recuperating from that. I know the Sooners did some outreach and helped with the recovery process when they arrived back home from California. That was on Monday. There's a fly ball that lands just foul, hit off the end of the bat by Kennedy Sullivan, and 0-1 the count. Always good to get out in the community. You hate to have to respond in difficult circumstances, but Patty Gasso was saying it just helps ground you, bring you back home, and Sooners have always been a big part of the community.
And hearing some of the things, I mean, they were out helping some of these victims who were struck by the tornado earlier this week in lieu of practice, you know, so that idea of staying grounded, but also remembering what's important. It's really easy, especially in the middle of the season, to kind of get that tunnel vision of what you have in front of you as far as games in the season and all the things that you have going on, but to remember that it's a game and there's a lot of other things that are important.
1-2 on Kennedy Sullivan now. Kennedy Sullivan, regular in the lineup, the designated player for this game, batting .294, a home run and 5 runs driven in. And that's fouled back to the back screen. Sullivan is a transfer from Western Kentucky, and as a pitcher for Western Kentucky, she beat Kentucky 2-1.
That's why you want to get her on your side, right? Especially in the state.
So much for if you can't beat them, join them. She said, if I can beat them, I'll join them anyway. Out in front of that one.
Great change of speeds by Jordy Bahl. She hasn't had to pull it out of her pocket much yet in this game, but a great time to use it. Facing Sullivan, who took some good swings, just pulling the string. Great pitch.
First strikeout of the afternoon for Jordy Bahl. And that is her 37th strikeout of this young season. Sooners have 3 pitchers with sub-1 ERAs. Nicole May has still not allowed an earned run this year. She's 4-0. 28 innings, has not allowed an earned run, Nicole May.
Unreal. And I always kind of joke talking about what you've seen so far in this season, seeing different games being started by different pitchers. I mean, there have been times this team's played 4 or 5 games and run a different starting pitcher out for every single one. Usually when you're using your whole bullpen, something has gone wrong.
Yeah.
It is not a good, it's usually not a good day, but to have such a deep bullpen.
This off the end of the bat and bounds foul toward Brito. So the count 1-2 on Riley Smith. The other thing it does is it makes these pitchers be ready every day for what their role might be. You might jump in there, you might start, you might come out of the bullpen, you might close.
Yes, it's different dynamic, but this team is going to be better for it in the long run.
Tough short hop play there by Quincy Lilio. Nicely done to retire Smith.
That's kind of a sneaky, difficult play. Great job by Lilio. You could kind of see that's that hopper that you kind of see eat up some infielders sometimes. Not getting that high hop, but great job staying low and staying quick because Smith gets down the line pretty well.
Patty Gasso and the staff want to get Quincy Lilio opportunities. Obviously, it is a loaded ball club, and Lilio has done the work, getting an opportunity the last couple of days. She started the opener yesterday against UIC, and with Grace Lyons getting the day off today, Tiara Jennings playing shortstop. Lily O, a natural fit to play second base and be in the lineup.
And she's just so smooth, and we just saw it right there with that play. Hit a home run last night, if I'm not mistaken. So taking advantage of the opportunities she's getting. When you're in this program as a freshman, it's difficult, especially, I mean, there are upperclassmen on this team that know nothing other than winning a national championship.
Yeah, you're a junior, and you haven't lost a national championship race. 1-1 here to Grace Lawrenceburg. And ball out in front, of ball and 2 strikes now. Lorsing is a junior from New Palestine, Indiana, and a transfer from Indiana. She was on the All Big Ten freshman team 2 years ago. Chopper back to Ball, underhanded toss, and Jordy Ball 6 up and 6 down in the circle so far for the Sooners.
Momentum going for this Kentucky team, so it's really important for Ball and this defense to keep that top of the order at bay.
Here is Kinsey Hansen, who hit a grand slam and a 3-run home run last night against Kentucky. Coming back from injury. If she's not 100% healthy, could have fooled me by what I saw last night.
Man.
Sooners slowly working her back in, but Patty Gasso said she has just been chomping at the bit to get in there, and I think we saw a little bit of that last night.
We did, and she came up at a point when the game was still, I mean, relatively close and in check, and just absolutely blew the doors open last night.
Ooh, that was a tailing line drive, and Tobias stuck her glove out as it nearly got past her. That was whistled out there.
But seeing the ball well, Kinsey Hansen, even there for the out, you can't hit a ball much better than that. Great piece of hitting, taking it the other way. I'd say she's not struggling too much to get her feet situated back in the box. Looking good so far.
That ball was hit about as hard as some of those home runs last night.
Oh, man.
Scalded it. Here is Alyssa Brito. Alyssa playing third base. Batting .359. She's hit 3 home runs, driven in 15. 0 for 1 yesterday, but a couple of walks. Brito transferred to Oklahoma from Oregon prior to last year.
She's really done a good job. I mean, we've seen Brito in a lot of roles. We've seen her play the outfield. We're seeing her now kind of consistently at third base. Just a really good person at knowing what her role is and finding a way in the lineup. I mean, she's done, when you're being moved as an infielder to an outfielder, and last year we saw her a lot in left field, it's because you can't keep her stick out of the lineup. So it's a good place to be, and she's done a good job.
2 balls and a strike now. All kinds of energy down in that dugout.
It's a tough pitch from Lacatena coming in right at the knee on the inner part. That's a good spot. Seen her working the outer half a lot in this game so far. So if she's going to keep these OU hitters on it, she's going to have to use the inner part of the plate.
That will land out in left center field, just right between Lorsing and Koffel, and picked up by Riley Smith, the 3rd hit for the Sooners.
Seeing Lacatena well. I mean, 3 hits. Haven't seen anything materialize yet, but just enough from Brito to get the barrel there enough to muscle it out and find a hole.
Lacatena has the best ERA on this staff, .69 coming in, a 3-0 record, and this is her 2nd start. Riley Boone takes a little off the plate. Boone was one of the Sooners who had a very good day yesterday.
Yeah, Riley Boone, anytime I think of Riley Boone, I think of spark plug, and we saw her in both games at times yesterday in the UIC game where this offense was a little quieter than normal, trying to find a way to be a spark and get some things done. Yesterday against Kentucky, using the short game. We even saw her hit a long ball yesterday, so does a little bit of everything, but she's such a spark for this lineup, and you love seeing that, especially you see her a lot in the 7, 8, 9, so having kind of a double leadoff like what you see in Riley Boone at the bottom of your lineup is just huge.
She hit a 2-run home run in the opener yesterday against UIC. And for the year, Riley Boone with 2 home runs and batting .433.
Do a little bit of it all. You see those lefties at the bottom of the lineup a lot, and you assume slap or short game, but she stands in and she will hit a double off the wall quicker than you can blink.
Chops at this one. On the move is Brito. The throw not quite in time from Kowalik. And a stolen base for Alyssa Brito.
Love the aggressiveness. Coming out early, I know you saw a little bit of a base running mishap by Jennings in the first inning, but coming out aggressive with Brito, getting in scoring position, trying to apply some pressure to Kentucky.
That's Brito's first stolen base of the year, and the 14th for the Sooners as a team. Boone hits a pop-up, shallow left field, caught by the shortstop, Koffel. 2 down, 2 down.
Lakatena, we've seen of the outs that she's gotten, every single one has been in the air. So it's really important for these Sooner hitters, especially Nugent Ball rolling back up to the top of the order, make an adjustment, start using the dirt a bit more. But letting Lakatena beat you up in the zone.
Sophia Nugent steps in. Hit a big 3-run home run against Kentucky last night that was way out of here. Hit it over the scoreboard in left field.
I don't think that thing has landed yet.
Maybe not.
I mean, it was a monster smash.
One and one the count to Sophia. Batting .429. The home run last night was her 3rd. Sooners had a scoring opportunity in the first. As DJ mentioned, a little base running blunder that squelched that. Another opportunity here for Sophia Nugent. It'll send the count to 2-2. Rita Hines Field sold out, packed once again. Home opener yesterday.
Yeah, this place has been awesome. I mean, yesterday, midday too, on a Friday, and I know no one just left work early. No one that was here would do that.
I hope so.
But no, this place has been electric, and couldn't get much better weather for it. It's beautiful. Great day to be at the ballpark.
And as you come to the games, you can drive by Love's Field, scheduled to open in time for next season. Corner of Jenkins and Imhoff, the generous donation from the Loves family. 850 donors now that have gotten involved. And Loves the initial $9 million gift for that project. 1,600 fans, over 44,000 square feet of total space just down the street from here. There's ball 4. The payoff pitch is down and in to Sophia Nugent. And now Jordy Ball will get a shot with runners at first and second and 2 down.
What a great at-bat by Nugent. Working the count with 2 outs. Fouling pitches off and finding a way to keep this inning alive. And I gotta say this, I love the opportunity here for Jordy Ball, who's also in the circle. Kind of break this game open with the runner in scoring position.
Pop up, and that will land foul on top of the Kentucky dugout on the first base side. Jordy Bahl getting the opportunity. We saw her in the lineup last night as well. She came in initially as a defensive replacement out in right field. Soon as she got into the game, a screamer was hit right at her in right field.
That's how it goes.
That's
the
right.
Ball will always find you.
One and one to Jordy Bahl. 4 hits in 12 at-bats for a .333 average. And she has driven in 3 runs, including a double.
You gotta love the opportunity for Jordy to get. I mean, we didn't see her at the plate last year, and you understand it. I mean, there are a lot of things that go into being a freshman, especially being the ace. And the game changes a little bit from high school travel ball, a lot of it, to your first season as a freshman and being able to focus just in the circle.
Foul ball.
But for her to sort of ease into it, because she hasn't hit in every single game, so having that opportunity to sort of ease in and see what works, see where she's going to be her best in the circle. Some pitchers are better in the circle when they're able to hit and do some other things.
Lacatena watches ball slash one back up the middle. Around third base and scoring the first run is Alyssa Brito. So Jordy Bahl, the Sooner pitcher, drives in the opening run. The Sooners strike first. It's 1-0.
Great at bat. Love the adjustment by Jordy Bahl. That is the same pitch that we have seen popped up by so many Sooner hitters so far. Up in the zone, just staying on top enough to get that line drive. Great job by Jordy Bahl making the adjustment.
So Brito, who singled with 1 away, scores the first run. 4 Oklahoma Sooner hits now. And the top of the order, Jada Coleman is in against Lacatena. That is only the 3rd earned run that Lacatena has surrendered this season. Jada Coleman hit a line drive to the left fielder Riley Smith back in the first.
Yeah, Lacatena has been very good for Kentucky, and I see why. She's not overpowering. I mean, she's only pumping the gun between 60 and 63. I mean, she does not have that overpowering velocity, but she spots the ball well. It's kind of one of those pitchers you walk away and go, how did she get me out 3 times? And it's just because she does such a good job with her pitch placement.
One and two now to Jada Coleman. 2 home runs last night, 4 on the season. Reaches out, hits this one well to center field. It is gone. Jada Coleman's 3rd home run in 2 days.
And that one was off her front foot and extended, no less, to the deepest part of the field. And she didn't even get full power behind it because she was so far out in front of that pitch. Take a look at it here. I mean, that's not even a full-blown contact to extension swing. She didn't even follow through.
A 3-run missile to straightaway center field by Jada Coleman. And just like that, Oklahoma leads 4-0. And that Sooner home run is presented by OERB. How about 10 home runs in 3 games so far this weekend for the Sooners? 3 of them by Jada Coleman. And she now has 5 home runs and 9 runs driven in for the season, as Oklahoma has separated in the second.
Going back to that key of striking early and making adjustments early in this game. First time through the lineup, lots of pop flies, kind of lazy fly balls, and you see that adjustment against Lacatena, who again is working up in the zone a bit.
Here's Tiare Jennings, who had a base hit her first time. The base hit into right field. where do you ever get a break in this Oklahoma lineup?
At the end of the game.
Yeah. You try to get 8 and 9 out, but you walk the number 8 hitter, and then the pitcher batting ninth gets a base hit to roll the lineup over. And La Catena hasn't pitched all that poorly.
No, she hasn't. And I think one thing for her that we've seen a little bit in this inning is we're starting to see the Sooners zone down a little bit. We saw that chasing early and getting some outs on some of those pop-ups. Not seeing that as much, starting to see them zone down and make La Catena come into the zone a bit more.
3-1 the count. How is that communicated with JT Gasso and all the hitters? You know, you're swinging it, pitches up in the strike zone. How do you get that across?
Zone down.
Just simply say to all of them.
Zone down, yes.
Full count now on Tiare Jennings. It looked like La Catena might get out of this inning unscathed when she got Riley Boone to hit the pop-up to the shortstop, Koffel. But since then, walk, single, 3-run home run.
And La Catena, too, again, she does not throw extremely hard. She's not an overpowering pitcher, so she really relies on that spin, relies on those placements, and we aren't seeing her hit those spots as much as we see the walk there to Jennings.
So Tiare Jennings has been on twice in this game, the single in the first, the walk here, and the 8th Sooner batter of the inning, Haley Lee, will stand in. Oklahoma now has outscored opponents this weekend 27-0 in basically what's 14 innings and 10 home runs for this offense
against, I mean, Kentucky. I mean, you're in game 2 against a ranked opponent.
0-1 to Haley Lee, who popped up to the second baseman Margaret Tobias, her first time. This one popped foul and out of play.
Haley Lee's really done a good job of kind of coming into this OU lineup and being consistent. Again, as the transfer from A&M, upperclassman veteran.
She deposits another base hit out into right field. The throw comes back in behind Jennings at second base from Taylor Ebbs. And here comes the Sooner offense again.
Just as I'm talking about the consistency and the comfortability that we've seen from Haley Lee, she does it again. Taking that pitch. That pitch probably was going to be called a ball. Down on the inner part, just goes down and gets it and drives it. And that idea of zoning down, looking for pitches down in the lower part of the zone.
The Sooners have batted around. Erickson rifles one into the gap in left center and all the way to the wall. Jennings races in from second. Haley Lee will get the stop sign at third. Erickson is 2 for 2. She's driven in her first run of the afternoon, and it's 5-0 Oklahoma.
I don't think that Erickson knows that she's a freshman.
Doesn't look like it to me.
She plays like an upperclassman. Again, great pieces of hitting by this OU team. Taking the ball the other way, up and down this lineup. If La Catena is going to stay in this game, she's going to have to start working both sides of the plate.
So Kinzie Hansen will bat. She started this inning by lining out. Remember that hard hit ball that Tobias had to stick her glove hand out and just spear before it got past her. That's how the inning started. And now the Sooners have posted 5 runs. Hansen back up there.
Tell you who I don't want to face in this situation right now if I'm Kentucky. After, I don't know, less than 24 hours ago having to face Hansen
Fly ball to left, and ranging over to put away out number 3 is Riley Smith, but it is 5 runs on 5 hits with 2 left, including the home run right here by Jada Coleman. And the Sooners lead at 5-0 headed to the 3rd. So they get at least a share. Sooners can win the title outright, pending what happens in a game that is just underway between Texas and Kansas State in Manhattan, Kansas.
Gonna be a lot of Sooner fan eyes on that game. Congratulations to women's basketball.
They're going to celebrate that. Sooners will come back to town in just a little bit, celebrate that championship. It was close. The Sooners went to overtime against Kansas State back on Wednesday night on senior night. So they had to pull that one off just to get the meaningful game today in Stillwater, and they come through and win it.
Pretty awesome. Makes it that much more sweet, right?
5-0 score here. Taylor Ebbs fouls this one off. What do you think of Jordy Ball so far? 1 strikeout. She's faced the minimum through the first 2 innings, DJ?
Well, she looks good. She's throwing well. She's using her defense. She's not trying to overpower these hitters. Seeing good movement. She's throwing hard. The gun has got her clocked at 70 miles an hour, right around that range between 60 and 70, but breaking the ball well, using the off speed when she needs it. But I love that she's letting her defense work.
Strike 2 to Ebbs. Ebbs, a sophomore. She was the Oregon High School Gatorade Player of the Year 2 years ago. Kaiser, Oregon. Pull to first, and Erickson will take it herself for the first out in the 3rd. This Kentucky team, like many, beginning the season with a bevy of road games, and the Sooners did the same thing. Sooners played their first 14 on the road. Kentucky, it'll be 18 straight on the road. Patty Gasso taking her team to California a couple of times.
It's tough. Especially these Midwestern schools where you're chasing good weather in February, right? It's hard to play softball in Oklahoma and Kentucky the first week of February because it might, well, in Oklahoma it might be 80. It might have 8 inches of snow on the ground. You never know.
No, so it will be both.
Within the week.
Right. Miko Harrison is in. Ball took a little off that pitch to even the count. Harrison is out of Fontana, California. These teams played last year out in Lexington, March the 22nd. The Sooners won 9-1 in 6 innings. And Jordy Ball did pitch in that game. In fact, she gave 1 run and 5 hits, a complete game with 12 strikeouts.
I remember watching that game and I think there were a lot of eyes on that game. It was the middle of March, kind of each team finding their groove in that second part of the season, everyone getting into conference play, but that's a big time midweek matchup. And just kind of seeing OU be tested at that point on the road. Kentucky's a tough place to play. It's a tough environment. Wildcats are a good team and have been a good team. So it was, I mean, that's not a midweek matchup you see very often, especially on the road.
Another foul ball. Count will stay 1-2. Miko Harrison batting .240. 2 home runs and 8 runs batted in. Strike 3 called. Top of the strike zone, and strikeout number 2 for Jordy Ball.
She took a little something off of it. Not quite that huge speed discrepancy that you see between the fastball and a changeup, but a little bit of an off-speed, almost backdoor curveball from Jordy Ball, and just froze Harrison. You could see Harrison didn't quite know what to do with it.
I don't think I would have either. Margaret Tobias is in. .368 average for Tobias. Sophomore from Urbandale, Iowa. And she is a true slapper. You were talking about Jada Coleman, Riley Boone, who also have the pop. And we saw last night Tobias hit a couple of balls. And you see in left field how shallow Riley Boone is.
Yeah, Tobias, she's more of that traditional slapper, and a lot of the lefties in this Kentucky lineup, you see that they have a lot of lefties up and down this lineup, and it's more of a I hate using the term old school, but you see more of that kind of old school type of approach with the way that this lineup is put together. They don't hit a lot of home runs. Not that they don't have power. They can use it at times, but you see more of the traditional slapper paired with your stand-in hitters in the middle of the lineup who are supposed to drive in your slappers, who their number one job is to get on first base.
This one bounced foul up the third base side. You know, Patty Gasso was on MLB Network earlier this week, did an interview with Matt Muskersian and Harold Reynolds. It was really well done. It was kind of the view from 40,000 feet, asking her history and how you constructed this team. And they were asking her kind of that question about when did you see the change in some of the athletes in this sport to players who could slap and hit the ball out of the ballpark? And she said about 10 years ago is when she first started to see that come into the sport.
Well, the game has evolved. I mean, it has. You see it in the way that teams are put together, the way that coaches now recruit. It has changed. Even in the time that I was playing, which I'm not going to age myself. However,
it was in that 10-year neighborhood.
Ish. But you see that slapper and their job's to get on base, and you back it up with power hitters. That has changed.
Tobias rolls out to Quincy Lilio. 1-2-3. Go the Wildcats. University of Oklahoma. Kennedy Sullivan is the new pitcher for the Wildcats, replacing Alex Lacatena, and gets greeted with a comebacker that she takes care of to retire Alyssa Brito for the first out in the third.
Like the aggressiveness, but Sullivan coming in quick, getting a quick out.
Sullivan also pitched last night. She comes in with no official record, no wins, no losses. Her fifth appearance, 6 2/3 innings, ERA of 9.45, and she faces Riley Boone, who popped up to the shortstop. Koffel, her first time.
And Sullivan, actually, when she came into this game yesterday, came in about the same place in the lineup, 7, 8, 9, and got out of a jam, got Grace Lyons to ground into a double play, and had a pretty good quick inning there in the third, and then backed up by Jada Coleman's home run in the fourth inning, and started to see some walks from her, but saw some bright spots from Sullivan in yesterday's game for a few at-bats.
Just so difficult to go through this Oklahoma lineup more than one time, really.
It is, and I think we saw that yesterday from going back to the Illinois-Chicago game. You saw their pitcher really rolling along and doing a good job and get pulled midway through that game. And that's sort of when OU started to put some runs on the board, but the starting pitcher for the Flames yesterday had them off balance. But you aren't usually pulling a pitcher when they're doing well, right? And kind of that idea of when's it going to happen? When is it going to happen? And I think that has been the approach in the visiting team's dugout a lot with this lineup is, our pitcher looks pretty good. She's done it twice. Can she do it again? I'm not sure if we can. Maybe we need to change the lineup up.
But the problem is, with Oklahoma, they get on you so fast. It's almost before you can make a pitching change, they post 3 runs because of that long ball.
And it's suffocating. I mean, you walk away. I can't even imagine as a coach dealing with that, going, well, we should have made the pitching change quicker.
Riley Boone walks with 1 away in the third. It's the third walk the Sooners have drawn in this game. And Sophia Nugent, who walked her first time, will be the batter. She scored on Jada Coleman's 3-run home run that really opened this game up.
And Nugent's at bat back in the second was really, I mean, I know it was just a walk, but it was really pivotal in that rally that got started. She had a great at bat, saw a lot of pitches with 2 outs, no less. So doing that and drawing that walk, I feel like that sort of turned things for OU to get that rally going with 2 outs.
Sophia Nugent batting .429. She's now scored 7 runs and driven in 9.
I can't get over that home run that she hit yesterday. I mean, in a pinch hitting situation, no less.
It earns you more playing time.
As it should. As it should. It's a great thing. I mean, we've talked a lot about this OU lineup, and there's so many, I mean, what's not great to say about this team offensively, but when your bat's off the bench, you're doing that at any given time. I mean, look out. Good problem to have.
Sophia Nugent keeping Patty Gasso alert down there in the third base coach's box. Skip that one past her. Sophia Nugent out of Seal Beach, California, was the #3 recruit in the class of 2021. She was the opening day starter at catcher for this team, with Kinsey Hansen still coming back from her injury.
She's done a great job behind the plate. I mean, she's handling. It's also, too, when you're using that many pitchers. I mean, traditionally, you look at a pitching staff, and it's you've got your ace, your #2, and then everyone else coming in relief. Being able to have Nugent handle the entire staff the way she has been great.
This pop-up is caught by the shortstop, Koffel, and Riley Boone retreats to first base, 2 down. As you said, Kennedy Sullivan did a good job yesterday when she first came into the game against this potent lineup.
And I think the thing that really, I mean, Coleman hitting the bomb, but really what got her was walks and losing the strike zone a bit. But she's been pretty solid here, again, other than the walk.
And she'll face Jordy Ball. Jordy had a base hit and then scored one batter later on Jada Coleman's home run. .385 average with 4 runs driven in.
I've really enjoyed, and we've got a lot of game left still, but I've enjoyed being able to watch Jordy Ball because I haven't gotten to see her live in that dynamic yet of throwing the game, starting the game, and also hitting. So I've really enjoyed getting to see her kind of, I mean, thrive. She's throwing very well. Got that RBI to break the game open a bit, so it's exciting to watch her in that role.
Blocked by the catcher Kowalik, but a good secondary lead for Riley Boone. She easily dives into second base.
So important. I mean, those are the little things. It's no mystery as to why this team does what it does year in and year out, but those little things of reading the ball in the dirt and having those feet moving, and those are the types of little things that win you tight games. And you see it again there from Riley Boone. As soon as she saw that pitch get away from Kowalik just a bit, she was ready to move on to the next base.
Yeah, she was headed down the road if Kowalik hadn't come up cleanly with that. Now 2-2 on Ball. Hard hit ground ball just under the glove of Koffel. Boone was on the move on contact, scores easily from second, and Jordy Ball is 2 for 2 with 2 runs batted in. The Sooners lead at 6-0.
If this is what we're going to get from Jordy Ball, Gotta love it. Same type of pitch again that she's reading up in the zone and finding a way to stay on top and use the dirt. We saw the line drive single RBI, and then again, up and out, finding a way to get the ball on the ground.
And she has twice rolled the lineup back over to Jada Coleman now. And Coleman hit a 3-run home run her last time. Bowl ticks off for second base and steals it.
I just got a big grin on my face. That's all I have. It's up 6-0. Jada Coleman, the way that she has been seeing the ball this weekend, I love the call, the aggressiveness, and just continuing to apply that pressure to Kentucky.
I think you as a former pitcher like the idea of a pitcher stealing bases.
Absolutely.
Too. Jada Coleman 1 for 2 in this game. She's also lined out to left field. She hit 2 home runs here yesterday. So 3 home runs in 2 games so far this weekend.
Not a bad start to the home series.
Little out in front of that one, backhanded by the first baseman Harrison, but it's a foot race, and it's won by Jada Coleman. So it'll be an infield single, and there's not much Harrison can do about it. Coming out of the left-handed batter's box, she gets a head start and beats it.
And again, catching Jada Coleman again, extended early, and she knows it, but finding a way to keep this inning rolling. But that's that no man's land, that almost the swinging bunt, not a lot you can do about it. But these last 2 at-bats, if they don't show you what a great hitter Jada Coleman is, finding ways to get things done when she arguably gets fooled a little bit.
Yeah, she got fooled on the home run. She was fully extended, reached out, and almost hit it off the end of the bat, out of here to straightaway center field.
That's how good she is, you know, and not that anyone had any question, but just seeing it happen the way that it has in this game, just an outstanding athlete.
Toby Keith and his wife Trish out here at the ball game, up here in the booth with us for a moment. Now they're out hanging out with the fans, enjoying a beautiful day here at Marita Hines Field. Yeah, and if you're over there, if you're Rachel Lawson, I mean, again, Sullivan hasn't pitched all that poorly. She's given up the walk, ball got her, and you get a ground ball from Jada Coleman. She just beat it. Here's Jennings, pulls one to third on one hop. Lorsung will take it across, and the inning is over. So the Sooners try to put together an inning, but Sullivan shuts it down. Just a grand time welcoming the Sooners to town for the first time this year. First pitch swinging, and a ground ball that's taken care of easily by Tiara Jennings off the bat of the leadoff hitter, Kayla Kowalik, for the first out in the 4th.
Defensively and in the circle, this has just moved so quickly. Jordy Ball getting quick outs, and gotta say it's strange to see Jennings at shortstop, and it's a little funny. I know it's a little bit of a longer throw than what she's been used to the last couple of years.
She's up to it.
Oh yeah.
As Nesby bounces one foul past third.
But playing second base, and you can put Jennings anywhere on the field and she's going to be tremendous. But playing second base, you get so used to having that arm slot drop down a little further because you're making that short throw all of the time. So a little bit of a transition.
0-2 now to Nesby, who grounded to third her first time up. Jordy Ball has faced the minimum. Just 10 batters to this point. And it'll stay 0-2. We told you that Sooner women's basketball has clinched at least a share of the Big 12 title with a win at Oklahoma State today. Sooner baseball, another win down in Frisco, gets them to 6-4 on the year. They beat Mississippi State 15-9 today. So Skip Johnson's team is 2-0 in that event. They beat Cal yesterday.
Playing some good baseball this weekend.
The national runners-up. Oklahoma had the national champion softball team and the national runner-up baseball team. last year.
It's not a bad spring.
And national championship in women's gymnastics.
Yep.
And KJ Kindler's gymnastics team had a big win over second-ranked Florida last night over at the Lloyd Noble Center. There's a pop-up out behind second base, and Jada Coleman was very shallow. You know, you play rec league softball, you might call that the rover position.
Or slow pitch.
Slow pitch.
I'll tell you what, though, 2 big outs in this situation. I mean, you've got Kentucky coming off of 6 runs in 2 innings with Kowalik Nesby coming in here to lead off the 4th inning. That's where Kentucky wants to be to try to get some momentum. Tip your hat to Jordy Ball.
And Koffel hits a rocket back up the middle for the first Kentucky hit of this ball game. A 2-out single to center field. Koffel's a very good player. We talked about Kowalik a good deal, but Koffel is right in that mix. And that ball was hit hard.
Yeah, and she's leading the team in RBIs for the Wildcats, and good hitter there in the middle of the lineup. Having Koffel there in the 3-hole is why it is so important to take care of Kowalik and Nesby, just as Ball did to start this inning. Let Koffel hit her single with nobody on base.
Koffel, 6 home runs, as you said, to lead this team. Here's a slow chopper to third. Brito is able to get Sullivan, and the inning is over. So Koffel gets the 2-out sit. That one on Sooner Vision on ESPN+. Looking forward to getting over there to the Headington Family Tennis Center, calling that action. Haley Lee set to lead things off. Haley Lee had a single in the second. Sooners sent 10 batters to the plate, got 5 runs in that second inning.
What I love about that rally is it was started by the bottom half of this lineup. This team has done such a good job of rolling things back up to the top, but when you've got a 6 through 9 that is kind of your rally starter, look out. And everyone wants to know, man, why is that lineup is so great? A lot of that is coming from that production in the bottom half.
Taylor Lee, for example, is batting .410, and she's in the number 3 spot. But then you get down there, Sophia Nugent's batting almost .450 in the 8th spot. And Jordy Ball's got 2 hits in the number 9 position today. Leadoff walk to Haley Lee. She reaches safely for the 2nd time today. Jocelyn Erickson, who has 2 hits in this one, a single and a double. And I think we will have a runner over there at first base, replacing Haley Lee. The Sooners will send Avery Hodge in to run.
Erickson has been a force to be reckoned with today. Just so smooth in the box. Confident, just a mature hitter.
Does not give you the impression that she is a freshman. If you did not know when you were facing this team, you see this player batting in the cleanup spot with the demeanor that she has, you would probably think she's been on some of these Women's College World Series teams.
Tell you what, she has stepped into that role, and just, there were a lot of questions, and not that it is Erickson's job to fill Jocelyn Allo's shoes. Those are shoes that will never be filled by anyone. But that kept getting brought up of what now, and Erickson has just come in as a freshman and doing what she's doing. I mean, her numbers are outrageous, and she's doing it with such poise.
Batting .588, and that just went up. That one hops into the glove out in right field of Mack. And here comes the Sooner offense. A walk and a base hit to start the 4th.
And her hands are just so quick. I mean, in Sullivan, she's throwing 64, 65 miles an hour. And Erickson just has the quickest hands I have seen in a long time. If you are going to try to go inside to Jocelyn Erickson, you better get the ball in. Otherwise, she is going to find a way to get her hands there.
Here's Kinsey Hansen. She was trying to make it 9-0.
A little bit of a swing there. Tell you what, you get fooled by a good changeup. Sometimes you just got to swing hard through it and tip your hat and say, you got me on that one.
How'd the swing look?
Throw it again, I dare you.
2 home runs last night, including a grand slam for Kinsey Hansen. Back up the middle, ranging over, stepping on second base is Koffel. The throw to first is not in time, so the near double play, but Erickson gets forced at second base, and Avery Hodge moves to third. Kinsey Hansen at first base on the fielder's choice.
Good play by Koffel, just keeping her feet moving. Making that play at first a lot closer than it should have been.
So Alyssa Brito will bat with runners at first and third and 1 away in the 4th.
Be curious to see 6-0. You're in that run rule territory, if you will. Coach Gasso, this team is so kind of known for that first and third offensive play. Curious to see if anything gets going here with 1 out.
Brito takes a strike on the inner half. Alyssa Brito singled and then scored on a Jordy Ball base hit in the 2nd. Hit a comebacker to the pitcher in the 3rd. .366 batting average for the Sooner third baseman. Another good off-speed pitch there from Kennedy Sullivan.
Yeah, we're starting to see her pull that out a little bit. She has not used the off-speed too much, even when we saw her yesterday, but big change in speeds from 65 miles an hour to 55 miles an hour. Trying to find a way to distort the timing of these OU hitters.
Count stays 1-2 to Alyssa Brito. While we're running down some of the activity for Sooner sports today, Porter Moser's Sooner men's basketball team with a win at the Lloyd Noble Center today, 74-60 over TCU on senior day for them. They are headed toward the Big 12 championship up in Kansas City Wednesday. One-two, pretty well hit to right. Mack backs up to the warning track to pull that one in. Avery Hodge will tag at third base, and it's a sacrifice fly by Alyssa Brito to make it 7-0 Sooners.
And that'll do. Good job by Brito, just playing the game, finding a way with 1 out to get your job done. I mean, and she just missed taking that out of here by a few feet, but finding a way to take a pitch that is up in the zone and do your job, get that RBI in, and Kinsey Hansen is now in scoring position.
Was about to say that. That was the other thing that happened as Kinsey Hansen tagged up and moved to second with what could be a run rule run for the Sooners, as Riley Boone stands in 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored.
So many options here for Riley Boone. We've talked about this a lot today with the slappers that Kentucky has in the lineup and sort of that triple threat, if you will, that you see from Riley Boone and Jada Coleman and some others in this OU lineup. But curious to see so many options that makes the defense not be able to settle, especially with 2 outs. I mean, we could see Riley Boone lay down a bunt. We could see her slap, stand in, just so many different things for her to do here to keep this inning alive.
Off the glove of the pitcher, Sullivan slowly rolling to Tobias. Everybody will be safe, and racing in to score the 8th Sooner run Sooners now are in that territory.
Just off the glove of Sullivan. I mean, Riley Boone using the dirt, hitting the ball hard. I mean, arguably a play that Sullivan should have made.
That'll bring Sophia Nugent to the plate. Scored a base hit for Riley Boone, driving in the Sooner run. This one is fouled back to the back screen by Sophia Nugent. Kinsey Hansen still at third, unable to come in on that play. 7-0, but the chance now for Nugent to bring in run number 8. There goes Boone towards second base. One hop throw, and she slides to the back of the bag. She's safe for now, and they've got her in a rundown.
Man.
So now you got a decision to make. Kinsey Hansen trying to come home. She slides in, and the ball gets away from Kowalik. It works out for the Sooners. Not how you draw it up, but it's 8-0.
In Kentucky at first.
So now, you know, if I'm Kentucky, I want to know if there was ever a tag at second base, and was Boone out of the baseline out there?
And I think that we're going to see a review come in from Coach Lawson. I thought Kentucky played it well. I mean, you saw Riley Boone take off and Kinsey Hansen staying tight to the back, especially with 2 outs, go for the out at second. I thought they may have had her at second base. I'm curious to see the replay, but it looks like this is going to be reviewed.
They will take a look at it, and we will also. You see, Koppel has it now. There's never an indication that there's an out.
Well, and here, my understanding, here's the deal. You have to have indisputable evidence, and I don't see that. Call on the field is safe.
And the reason there's no call there yet from Bobby Martinez is there's neither a tag nor officially safe because she's off the bag out there. So, as you said, there's no call of an out.
And he eventually, you saw Koppel looking up saying, what's the call? And he says safe. It's delayed. I mean, I think he himself, as the umpire, was trying to see, did she get the tag there on the arm? But on that back end, does she get the arm or is she sliding over it? It's tough to see. I think it's going to be tough to overturn that. I will say I think the call should have been made sooner of whether or not she was safe or out. I mean, you had players out there looking around going, what's the call? Do I need to chase her? What are we doing here? We've got a runner on third base.
Well, I think from the umpire's vantage point, because she was not on the bag, she was not completely safe at that point. She had touched the bag, but had not established her position there.
And I'll say this, Riley Boone, heads up play.
Yeah.
She didn't sit there and try to kind of scurry away from the play. She popped up really quick, almost as if she knew she hadn't been tagged.
Yeah, she kept playing.
Yeah, she got up and put herself in a good position. So good heads up base running by Riley Boone.
And let's look at the play at home with Hansen sliding in head first. It looked like Kowalik had a chance to make the tag and doesn't touch Hansen.
And she would have had to have kept control of that ball.
It looks like it does touch Hansen with the tag.
But it's my understanding she would have had to have kept control. So as soon as that ball sort of kind of flew out of her glove, Hansen's safe. Wild play. That is not how I thought that first and third was going to go.
Patty Gasso is waiting word, and Rachel Lawson, the Kentucky coach, same thing.
And unless they have a different view than we do, I don't see anything that quite overturns it. I think the only thing that is potentially there is the tag on her arm.
And I didn't see a view that tells me there was a tag.
Exactly.
The original call was no tag. We get the decision. Plate umpire Anthony Williams.
Play is either about to erupt
No, it's an
There
out.
it is.
It's one in Texas, a 2-1 win as well. A lot of those teams are playing 2 today. Get you a scoreboard in our late game. Get you all caught up. Riley Smith grounded out to the second baseman, Quincy Lilio, her first time. Tough play, barehanded, but easily safe as Riley Smith. Tiara Jennings came up with it, but Riley Smith has the second Kentucky hit of the game.
That's a good touch by Riley Smith. Good placement. Jennings get the bare hand, doing everything she can, but great touch there by Smith.
Jordy Ball, 4 innings, now 2 hits, 2 strikeouts, no walks, and faces Grace Lorsung. Lorsung hit one right back to Jordy Ball for an out in the second inning.
You know, Jordy has been so efficient. I mean, you're just now seeing that one gets away. May have crossed Hansen up a little bit. But you're seeing the bottom part of this Kentucky lineup just now getting to their second at bat of this game.
So Riley Smith becomes the first Kentucky base runner in scoring position. And the count moves to 1-2 on Grace Lorsung.
If I'm not mistaken, this is the first runner Kentucky has had in scoring position against the Sooners in almost 2 games.
Swing and a foul tip that's hung onto by Kenzie Hansen. 3rd strikeout for Jordy Ball.
Love the change of speeds from Jordy. Just working down in the zone, getting the chase from Lorsung. That's a big strikeout to come back from the leadoff single.
Looks like Lauren Borzarelli is going to pinch hit here for Taylor Epps in the number 7 spot. Nope. Epps will bat, and then we may see a pinch hitter after that. Jordy Ball trying to work around a little bit of trouble as this pitch is popped up. Tiara Jennings out there for out number 2.
Great work by Jordy. Working around the runner in scoring position, nobody out. Just business as usual, getting it done to the bottom part of this Kentucky lineup. Now facing the pinch hitter.
Lauren Borzarelli will pinch hit here for Harrison. And a tailing fly ball that falls out of the reach of Lilio will score the run. As Riley Smith races around from second base, just perfectly placed out there. So Borzarelli gets her name called and comes through.
The pinch hit opportunity. And just finding enough of it to kind of find that no man's land. Good hustle by Lilio, but a little bit of life from Kentucky.
That'll bring Margaret Tobias to the plate. Wildcats showing some life here in this top of the 5th inning. 7-1 Sooners now. Tobias 0 for 1 with a ground out to the second baseman Quincy Lilio.
Jordy's been really solid. I mean, we see the run go up on the board, but we're yet to really see anything be hit hard.
You know, you've got the single from Smith, sort of a slap, very well-placed slap, then kind of the seeing eye single
from Bozzarelli, but nothing has really been squared up yet off of Jordy Bahl by Kentucky.
She's out in front 0-2 on Tobias. Top of the order, Kayla Kowalik due next.
And this is such a big out. Going after Tobias. Kowalik has been quiet today in this game, but got the best hitter in this lineup, arguably, on deck.
The appeal to first base. Mike Hernandez says no swing by Tobias. That's a shot back into center field. And a base hit for Tobias on a two-strike pitch that rolls the lineup over and is the third hit of the inning for Kentucky.
A little something cooking. Looks like that might be... Oh, she was out of the box.
They do say that she was out of the box when she made contact. So that is out number 3 as Tobias is ruled out. Sooner Softball is brought to you by the Hal Smith Restaurant Group. Perfect for your Saturday evening plans. Sophia Nugent was at the plate when it was officially a caught stealing of Riley Boone at second base to close the Sooner 4th inning on what was a wild play. Oklahoma actually watched Kinsey Hansen cross home plate safely, but they reviewed it and said that Riley Boone was out at second base before the run scored. And so Nugent back up there with a fresh count. Hard hit ground ball right at Koffel for the first out.
We've seen a few kind of strange things happen in a very short amount of time. The review taking a run off the board with Riley Boone at second base. Just when you think that Kentucky is starting to kind of find their groove and going back up to the top of the order with runner in scoring position for Kowalik and Nesby, get the call out of the box. So a couple kind of strange things we've seen here happen in the last few half innings.
Not your normal 7-1 Saturday afternoon game. Sullivan so far 2 1/3 innings, 4 hits and 2 earned runs. Lacatena, the starter, went 2 innings as well and gave 7 hits and 5 earned runs to the Sooners. Bouncing ball by Jordy Bahl, ranging over goes Koffel, and 2 down in the 5th. Jordy Bahl now 2 for 3 in this game with 2 runs driven in, but she's retired and back to the top of the lineup for Jada Coleman now.
Good opportunity for Coleman to slow things down. You've got Sullivan right after Kentucky gets a little bit of momentum, putting a run on the board, starting to see the ball a little bit better off of Jordy Bahl. Chance here for Coleman to kind of slow things down, getting those 2 quick outs. You want to keep Kentucky out there a little bit longer.
With 2 aboard in the 2nd inning, Jada Coleman smashed a 3-run home run to center field. Her 3rd home run in 2 days. Then she singled in the 3rd. And 2-0 the count.
Yeah, they have been the home runs, everything Jada Coleman has done at the plate. I mean, even her outs back in the 1st inning, line drive to left field, have been good, solid swings, hard contact.
With 3 balls and no strikes, Tiare Jennings waits to hit next.
This looks unintentionally intentional here. I don't disagree with it. I mean, Coleman has seen Sullivan hit the bomb off of her yesterday. Now you've got Jennings waiting on deck. It's not like that's a much better position to be in, but quit letting Jada Coleman beat you.
And there is ball four. I'm not so certain that wasn't what the attempt was in the second inning. That ball that Coleman hit for a home run, I'm not sure it was a strike.
It wasn't, and it was off the plate. And, I mean, we were kind of joking about it during Coleman's last at-bat. She's just putting up base hits and home runs, getting fooled on some pitches. But don't disagree with the walk there. Make somebody else do the damage other than Jada Coleman, and I think she's done enough against Kentucky in the last 2 games.
Tiara Jennings has been on base twice in this game. She singled in the first and walked in the second, and grounded out to the shortstop Koffel in the third. Another ground ball to the shortstop Koffel. She'll take it across and record all 3 outs in the inning. Sooner pitching coach Jennifer Rocha in there, sending the signals out to Jordy Ball.
And I think if the preseason has shown anything, it's that this OU team has a very complete pitching staff. They all have different looks to them, and it's something very special, and I just want everyone to know how rare it is. I mean, having 4 pitchers who can throw against anybody in the country and do what they have done so far. I mean, it's a long season, but I mean, this is, as far as an entire complete staff goes, it's one of the best I've seen in a long time. I mean, we've seen a lot of great duos, right? But it's very, very rare you see 3 or 4 that are doing what this staff is doing so far.
So many options, and a luxury to have that many, and ones that you're not afraid to stick into the heat of battle in a super regional or a Women's College World Series. This one pulled toward Lilio at second base, and that throw gets away from Erickson. I think that Kowalik would have beaten it anyway, and that goes into the dugout. So she'll take second base.
Starting to see Kentucky use the short game a little bit, and this is what they do. It's part of the reason that they have had success applying that pressure, and wide throw from Lilio, trying to make that quick play. But here's where Jordy Ball and the Sooner defense just needs to settle down a little bit and play pitch with a lead. You've got a 6-run lead and continue to roll.
There's Nesby, and she bunts one. Look at Brito come all the way across and get a great out at first base on Nesby. And I think that Rachel Lawson wants to have the referees take a look at this one.
I'll say this, what a play by Brito, and what a placement. I mean, Brito's coming all the way across the field, throwing on 1 foot. I mean, that's a base hit.
3 innings. In fact, she retired the first 11 batters of this game. And the call has been overturned. Nesby is safe. So it is Kowalik at third and Nesby at first. And the number 3 batter, Erin Koffel, will stand in.
I know that this has been a hot topic in college softball the last couple of years, but it takes nothing away from the play that Brito made. The fact it was that close is ridiculous.
But I like the fact that there is the opportunity for review in the challenge, because the call should be right.
Absolutely. Koffel had a base hit back in the 4th. She's also popped up to Tiara Jennings, the shortstop. And you see how Jordy Ball responds in this situation. 1st and 3rd and nobody out.
When she's been here, these are the types of moments that make your pitchers better. They make your defenses better. They make your teams better. So I love the challenge here.
That one blocked by Kenzie Hansen. 2-0 on Koffel.
Also opportunity here. Nobody out. Double play situation. Anything to the middles. Leave that run. Let them go. Get the double play if it's there.
if it takes you up the middle.
Well hit down the right field line, and in foul ground it lands as Nugent lets it bounce. And 2-1 now on Koffel. Erin Koffel out of Bremen, Indiana, two-time Indiana Gatorade Player of the Year. She's preseason All-SEC. And she is one of 2 players in Kentucky history to have a 15 home run, 50 RBI season twice. Abby Cheek also did that. Did a Kentucky record 16 home runs for a freshman in 2021.
I like the confidence, and no reason not to have confidence in Jordy Ball in this defense, but I like the confidence of not, because Nugent catches that ball, you give up the run, but you take the out and walk away with your 5-run lead.
That's going to be caught by Lilio, and she will double off Nesby at first base. 2 down.
And that's exactly why Nugent didn't catch the ball. No need to give up a run when you've got faith in your defense to get it done, and Jordy Ball to get it done. Couldn't have written it up much better than that. Freeze on a line drive.
Easy to say, tough to do sometimes.
Yes.
So a line-out double play. Let's go back to that decision by Nugent. As Sullivan stands in, she's out there by herself. You know, that's something that a young player wants to know. If you catch that ball, Kowalik going to tag at third and score the run.
No question, it was deep. And, you know, Nugent, you could see her. She was there. She could have caught it, and she held up on it and laid up, not giving up the run. And it depends. Some of it's strategy. Some of it's, you know, when you've got a lead like that, you give up the run and take the out, especially with nobody out. In a tight game, you do exactly what Nugent did. But I love the way that it was played, because here we are, runner on third, 2 outs, just like that.
Sullivan has struck out and grounded to third in this one. Just got a piece of that.
I feel a little coming from a pitcher saying, give up the run. No, I'm going to take that back for a minute. But there are there are situations, again, when you've got a large enough cushion in a lead that you take outs, especially when you don't have very many on the board. But
popped up foul and caught by Hanson. The inning is over. So there were runners at the corners and nobody out, but the Wildcats cannot get a run.
Championships out on the wall, but the 2000 through 2022 and watching the teams when they win a super regional take that down because they know it's going to be replaced. It's pretty awesome to watch.
Mm-hmm. And it's been done a lot here.
It has.
Haley Lee leads off in the Sooner 6th inning. 1 for 2 with a walk and a base hit in this one. Now leaving things at 1-1 to Lee. Sooners got a 3-run home run by Jada Coleman in the bottom of the second to lead 4-0. Then Jocelyn Erickson, an RBI double, made it 5-0. Jordy Ball, an RBI single, made it 6-0. And then a sacrifice fly by Alyssa Brito in the fourth made it 7-0. And you thought they might be headed for the run rule in 5 innings, but credit this Kentucky team for battling back.
Yeah, they have shown a lot of life here in this game. Sullivan has done a pretty good job. I mean, hanging a 0 in the 5th, giving Kentucky a chance to stay in this game.
She's now at 3 1/3 innings, 4 hits and 2 earned runs. As she retires, Haley Lee to start the 6th, and Jocelyn Erickson will be the batter.
Yeah, lots of bright spots here for Kentucky today in this game, and the bats have been slow for Kentucky getting moving. We've seen them start to wake up a little bit as this game has gone on. But much different Kentucky team we've seen today than what we saw yesterday.
No doubt. Look at that average, 600 for Erickson now, 3 for 3 in this game. And she is 5 out of 7 in 3 games this weekend here.
Just making it look easy, Erickson. And I know I have said this time and time again, and I'm going to continue to say it all season. She's a freshman, and doing it on the biggest stage for the #1 team in the country as a freshman, there's a lot walking with that goes so far beyond just the physical parts of the game. So the way she's handling it, I've just been so impressed.
She drove in a run with a double when she came to the plate in the 2nd inning. Sooners really opened it up in that 2nd inning. Got 5 runs and sent 10 batters to the plate. 2 O's hit foul down the 3rd baseline.
2nd inning is really, it's been the difference maker in this game so far. And good at bats for the most part from OU. We've seen off of Sullivan, we're starting to see that timing get distorted a little bit in the box for some of these OU hitters. Sullivan's done a good job of sort of settling in and slowing the tempo down for OU. Even in the 1st inning, they put up no runs, but we're in striking distance, threatening and hitting the ball hard outs. We haven't seen those hard outs from the Sooners. Every out in the 5th inning was a ground ball to the shortstop. So starting to see Sullivan settle in.
Foul tip, and 3-2 now with 1 away. Kinzie Hansen, the next scheduled hitter for the Sooners. Oklahoma will play UIC later on this evening. Sooners beat the Flames 5-0 yesterday. Hard hit line drive off the glove of Koffel, and Erickson is safe at first base for the 4th time in this game. Backhand kind of handcuffed her out at shortstop.
That's a hard hit ball, but that's an error. Yeah, and it goes down. I was going to say that should go down as an error in the scorebook, and it does. Still, hard hit ball by Erickson.
Continues to square the ball up, and Kinzie Hansen is the Sooner batter. Hansen 2 home runs last night against Kentucky, a grand slam and a 3-run home run. She is hitless here in this one, 0 for 3.
Usually what happens when Kinzie Hansen is hitless or in a little bit of a, I use that word slump loosely, but she is not in any sort of slump, but hitless in this game today, she usually comes through big time.
Due for a hit, you might say.
Yes. You know Kentucky feeling that a little bit on the air by Koffel, kind of going, when you open the door for this lineup just a little bit, you usually see things happen.
Kind of a wry grin there from Kinzie after that call. And it's 1-1. Ball and 2 strikes now.
Say this, Sullivan, some of the spots that she's hitting, she's been throwing the ball, good velocity in this game, but doing a good job of hitting the corners. The start of this game from Wakatena, a lot of pitches up in the zone and seeing a lot of the outs from these OU hitters up in the air until they made an adjustment. Kind of a different look from Sullivan, really doing a good job of breaking the knees left to right.
Swing and a foul tip, and Kowalik hangs onto it. So Sullivan strikes out Kinzie Hansen for the 2nd out in the 6th inning.
And that's that spot, again, working at the knee. And I love the location of the curveball from Sullivan, getting the chase from Hansen, but she's really living in that area. And when I'm talking knees, I'm talking catcher's knees. If you can throw and hit the knee of your catcher, corner to corner, that's a tough, tough, tough pitch to hit.
That's the first strikeout for Kentucky pitching in this game. Brito bounds one out into left field, gathered up by Riley Smith. And the Sooners keep the inning going now. Alyssa Brito's second hit of this one. She did drive in a run with a sacrifice fly back in the fourth. So Erickson stops at second, and Riley Boone will step in. 12th Sooner hit of this game. Gonna see a pinch hitter? Yes, we are. Sydney Sanders will pinch hit for Riley Boone in the number 7 spot.
I love this opportunity for Sydney Sanders. Runner in scoring position, 2 outs, opportunity to clutch up. Get a big 2-out hit and put the pressure back on Kentucky.
Sullivan calmly delivers the first pitch strike to Sydney Sanders. Sanders batting .267 with a home run and 6 runs driven in. And she hit a home run last night against the Wildcats. One of 6 that the Sooners hit in that game. We count quickly 0-2 on Sid Sanders.
So much to say about Sanders, the sophomore. I mean, she is such an outstanding talent. She has great power, and we saw some of that here last night. But I mean, she really is a great hitter.
0-2 is foul down the right field line. If that was fair, might have been the old walk-off run rule. But it's a long, loud foul ball. Once again, the Sooners and UIC will play about 30 minutes following the conclusion of this one. That'll wrap up competition in this OU tournament. Another 0-2 forthcoming to Sid Sanders. And it deflects off of the catcher Kowalik. Both base runners will move up. There's a little significance with that because now you got 2 runners in scoring position and a base hit.
Yeah, Sydney
might
Sanders.
end this game.
You just said it, Chad. Sydney Sanders has the opportunity to finish this game right here. And I will say this, Kentucky has battled in this game. I would really like to see this finish up right here for OU. And not give Kentucky any more opportunities offensively.
There's definite momentum in their dugout,
yeah,
isn't
you can
there?
feel it. And you love it. You love the competitiveness, right? You don't want to see a team come in and roll over and say, oh, well, we're down 7-0. I guess you got us again. They've really fought in this game, and the score isn't necessarily representative of that right now, but this is a Kentucky team. Sullivan has thrown well in the back half of this game.
Down and in, and scooped nicely by Kowalik this time.
But I appreciate the battle that they've brought and have continued to bring in this game. I feel like they have gotten better as this game has gone on.
You mentioned it a moment ago, but Patty Gasso's so good at getting opportunities. See what hitters are made of, and this is one of those for Sydney Sanders. 2-2, rocketed foul down the left field line. You don't know, is an at-bat like this going to come up in a Big 12 championship or a super regional? You never know.
And you took the words right out of my mouth of these opportunities are going to show up. And I love the fact that Sydney Sanders got her number called with what would be the winning run in scoring position, because it will happen again, and it's going to happen on a much bigger stage with a lot more at stake.
She hits another foul ball out of play off the indoor facility.
But good at bat by Sanders. Fouling pitches off, trying to find her rhythm. I'll say this, if Sullivan has a good off speed, this wouldn't be a bad time to use it, as I'm watching some of these hacks coming from Sydney Sanders.
Strike 3 called. Came right after her on the inner half. Second strikeout of the inning for Sullivan, and the Sooners leave 2 out there, but carry a 7-1 lead to the 7th inning. Ball 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 4 strikeouts, and no walks.
Yeah, she's been solid. The one opportunity where Kentucky has found a way to get on the board against Jordy Bahl all started with who we've got at the plate with Riley Smith. So if Kentucky wants to be in a spot, this is where they'd like to be.
Indeed, Riley Smith did single and scored the Kentucky run back in the 5th inning. Lauren Borzilleri, pinch hitter, came in and drove in Riley Smith in that 5th inning. 2-0 the count. See if Jordy Bahl can cross the finish line here. 1.09 ERA last year, including a perfect game. 205 strikeouts she had as a freshman. High chopper to third. Brito had to wait back on it and cannot quite get the speedy Riley Smith, who has her 2nd hit of this game.
And as I already said, Smith, sort of the rally starter for Kentucky back in the 5th, doing it again. A very well-placed slap. And she didn't get that placement as we saw with the last one back in the 5th inning and the single there, but the high hop, and Smith gets down the line so well. Not a lot Brito can do other than getting rid of the ball as quickly as she can, as she did there. But slapping is an art. I will stand by that forever and ever. And Riley Smith does it well.
And Haley Smith will now pinch hit for Grace Lorsung in the 6th spot in the lineup. Lorsung had been 0 for 2. Mitchell batting .400, 10th game in which she has appeared. She has 3 hits. And slices this one foul into the seats over the left field side.
Say this, Jordy Bahl going right at these hitters. She's thrown well today. Trying to slam the door here in the 7th inning. You know, with Kentucky, unless they've got some of their slappers up, being down 6 runs, 1 run is not putting them back in this game and giving them a shot. So they're having to get in and take their hacks.
1-2 now on Mitchell. Mitchell's a sophomore from Forsyth, Illinois. Sooners playing their home opener this weekend. We told you that Kentucky has 18 straight on the road to start the season. And they finally get their home opener at John Crop Stadium on Wednesday against Dayton. Fly ball, foul down the left field line, caught. Riley Boone pulls it in for out number 1.
Big out for Jordy Bahl. After the leadoff single, facing the 7-8-9, where we have seen them struggle a little bit this weekend here in Norman. So go right after the 7-8-9.
Number 2, Rosa Hamilton.
One away for Hamilton. Right back up the middle. Short hop. The out at second for Lilio, and a double play that ends it. Quincy Lilio ranging in front of the bag to pull off the 4-3 double play and send the Sooners to their 16th win of the season.